Let's take a look at some guys who need impressive training camps to earn one of those 53 roster spots everybody's going at. I'll give you three guys all on defense. Not a surprise since the Browns upgraded that side of the ball. MJ Stewart, Mack Wilson, Sheldrick Redwine. Which of those guys you think has the best chance to stick, and what do you think we need to see?
Well, it better be Mack Wilson because you invested that fifth-round pick and a guy that went from 77 solo tackles in 2019 all the way down to 21. And if you remember back to that Monday Night Football game against the Ravens, the Ravens love to run. Of course, they got Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson was running all over the field. I was sitting at the top of the stadium, freezing that night and watching Lamar Jackson run all over the Browns defense last year. And Mack Wilson came out of that game with 0 tackles. But a guy that I know that's been working this offseason to improve and seeing that linebacker room has had a lot of depth. So it better be Mack Wilson, but based on his track record and kind of inconsistencies, you wonder why he makes certain plays and then flashes at other times. It could be MJ Stewart, even though that defensive back room is so deep, a guy that took advantage of an opportunity when there were so many injuries in that defensive backfield, especially in that wild card game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, was able to get an interception in that game and had 10 tackles. So to kind of be one of those guys on the back end in that defensive back room, MJ Stewart, Redwine, I know you guys talked about it with Mack Robinson as well. Sheldrick Redwine, I don't know how he makes this team because even when he's been healthy, he hasn't been able to get on the field. Only 3 starts last year and 8 total starts in his 27-game appearances for the Browns.
Yeah, and I think it kind of speaks to how much they've upgraded that side of the football. I mean, as you mentioned, Mack Wilson made some plays now. He had way more missed tackles than you want to see from a guy that you're putting in the middle of your defense. I mean, that's got to stop because good teams don't miss tackles. Their middle linebackers don't miss tackles. But those are guys that made some plays for the Browns last year as well, being Wilson and Stewart.
Yeah, guys that made plays all over the field. Again, MJ Stewart in a big moment in that wild card game. It's just the question mark with Mack Wilson. You brought it up, Dave. It's being able to tackle in space because that linebacker room, while the talk is all about this 4-2-5 defense and only having 2 linebackers on the field, I know Mack Wilson is also partnered up with new linebacker Anthony Walker with the Browns, who Darius Leonard from the Colts raves about his leadership, his work ethic. So definitely a guy that you think Mack Wilson can learn a lot from in this league if he really wants to improve. You just can't come out of a game playing against a division rival. You're going against them to try to win the division last year, and now, of course, with a revamped roster, even more so this year, they're not going to miss those tackles. If you're going to be on the field and making plays for this team this year to go where this team wants to go or has aspirations of going and built this roster for those purposes, you're going to have to be able to make those plays, and you can't come out of a game against those teams, against your rivals, especially that run all over the field. You can't come out of a game with 0 tackles, let alone 3 or less.
Yeah, and you can't be missing tackles when you got J.K. Dobbins, Lamar Jackson, Najee Harris, Joe Mixon. I could keep going. This division, you better be tackling if you're a middle linebacker.